Hello to my beautiful girlies and welcome to the Growth For Girlies podcast. You have just tapped into a space where mindset meets action, where we shed the old stories, activate our highest self, and step into the life we were always meant to live. But girlies, this is not just another mindset shifting podcast. This is a behavior shifting podcast. Here, we'll not only get into your limiting beliefs, but actually give you the tools and action steps you need to do to overcome and rewrite those beliefs. I'm your host, Alicia Tghlian, mindset coach, behavior consultant with a master's in behavior science. Using this knowledge, I'm going to get you to that exciting yet grounded place of expansion and growth. Each week, we dive into powerful topics that will leave you with that energetic download that you're going to need to get to your next step of alignment. So, take the deepest breath you've taken all day today and allow me to grant you with your weekly dose of growth and expansion. This is Growth for Girlies. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Growth for Girlies podcast. I'm still so excited to have this podcast for you guys, and this is going to be a legendary episode all about anxious attachment and moving on from detaching from people. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I'm a mindset coach, and I have my master's in behavior science. In this podcast, we learn how to detach from limiting beliefs and actually shift our mindset into the person that we want to become. We do this through action-based, evidence-based strategies that actually give you the concrete things that you need to do and actually shift your belief system in this way. Now, without further ado, let's get into the questions that you guys have for me. The first question I have for you guys is, how do I stop chasing when I'm used to always initiating with people? So the key to actually stop chasing someone is to start chasing yourself. You need to start doing things for yourself. You need to actually have goals and ambitions and dreams in your life, because if you don't, then your goals, ambitions, and dreams are going to be based on how this other person is treating you 24/7. And it is no place for this other person to have to fill your cup when you yourself are not actually filling your own cup in this space. That's why it's important to make sure you actually have things that you want to be doing. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, go do that. If you want to go back to school, you got to go do that. Right? If you want to get a degree, that's really important for you. You have to go actually chase those dreams, because when you're not actually working towards yourself, then you're going to be spiraling, and then you're going to actually become anxious in a lot of different areas of your life, because your underlying anxiety is coming from the fact that you're not following your dreams and what you need to be doing in this lifetime. So to answer that question, it all comes down to yourself, your values, your beliefs, your dreams, ambitions, and to take those risks towards yourself so you can stop relying on other people to validate you and to make you feel good. The next question is, can I truly care about someone deeply while still focusing on myself? And the answer to this question is yes. The actual only way you can fully care about someone and do the most that you can for them is when you are focusing on yourself. This is because when we get really anxious about other people, it's because we're actually anxious about the things that we are not doing for ourselves. So in this case, when I actually went through this, in the past, in my own relationships, I used to feel very anxious, and I didn't know until after that it was because I was not focusing on my dreams of becoming an entrepreneur and posting content online. But as soon as I realized this and actually shifted things afterwards in my past relationships, I actually learned that I was feeling a lot less anxious, I was feeling a lot more happy and a lot more stable. And that is because I was putting my energy towards something that would actually grow, rather than putting my energy towards someone that I cannot control. So that is why it's so important to actually look at yourself and hone in on you and who you are as a person. And when you do that, then you're able to provide and give the most value to the person and the people in your lives, because your cup is going to be full. And when it is full, then you're actually able to pour into those that you love. But when it's not full and you're feeling sad and deprived and depleted, then you're going to be chasing and making other people feel bad and making other people feel sad and just making people feel not the best about you as a person, because you yourself are not feeling the best about you as a person. So I hope that answers your question there. Everything comes down to focusing on yourself and your goals. And when you don't do that, then you're not going to be in a very good place. The next question is, why does it feel like they only come back when I finally pull away and detach my energy? This is a really fun question, and similarly to the previous ones, it comes down to where your energy is going. So people energetically can feel when you're thinking about them. They can feel when you're on their mind. They can feel when you're feeling anxious about them. People just know intuitively, energetically, when you are being thought about or when they are being thought about. So when your energy is no longer with another person, they cannot reap the benefits of actually having you around energetically, and they will notice the lack of you and the lack of your energy around them. Therefore, they will reach out and call back because they're trying to get more of your energy out of you whenever you finally detach and pulled away. So that's why it's really important in these cases, if you decided that you're done with a person, to hold back and to not go back to your old ways, because it's just going to put you in this vicious cycle that you do not want to be a part of. And honestly, I'm sure you were a lot happier after you decided to detach anyways. Now, the next question, I get this one a lot, is does going no contact really work, or is that just a TikTok trend? And just like my last question, no contact and withdrawing your energy, it does end up working 99% of the time. And by working, I mean it ends up helping you and making you feel better in the end. However, if you're asking if going no contact will have someone reach out to you, that really depends of whether or not they are aligned to the person that you are in that moment. So if you do not need them in your life, if you are not going to learn any more lessons from them, and if they do not need to be part of your life anymore, then they will not reach out to you. And that is totally okay. And that is actually for your best benefit. But if they do reach out to you, then that means that there's a lesson to be learned, or maybe something that has already been learned. So then you will able to be with this person, or actually have to deal with the lesson that comes with them coming back to you and having to choose yourself in these situations. So to answer your question, going no contact does work to help you at your best place, but it may not depend on whether or not this person will actually come back and try to get you back. The next question I got from one of my good friends is, how can I be anxious in one relationship but avoidant in another? And this is very normal and very similar to a lot of people in this world, because we tend to not only have an anxious or an avoidant attachment style, we very much will fluctuate between the two depending on our partner. So if your partner is actually anxiously attached, then you will naturally lean towards being more avoidant. But if your partner is avoidant, then you will naturally lean towards being more anxious. There always has to be one person that is chasing the other energetically in a relationship. There will not be a place where both are very peaceful 24/7 all the time. Even with two people are secure, there's definitely a chase going on whether you like it or not. So you can be one way one time and another way another time, depending on your partner and how they are showing up for you. The next question I got from you guys is, how do I know the difference between actually detaching and actually distracting myself in a relationship or from a person? So the difference between actually detaching and distracting yourself is the fact that you've actually worked through the feelings that have come through this thing. So if you're distracting yourself, you likely are putting off a lot of feelings that you have not worked through. You're likely not thinking about them. You're just putting them off to the side. You're trying to avoid the situation. So that comes from an avoidance attachment. But if you're actually trying to detach from this person, you've actually healed. You've actually noticed that, okay, you need to be gone. You need to move away. And you've come to peace with this situation. So it really comes down to the peace that you've made in all of this. So whether or not you actually have focused on yourself and actually learned the lessons that had to be learned from this relationship, that's when you're actually able to detach and actually emotionally step away from this person, as opposed to constantly just distracting yourself and thinking that you're detaching, but you're not actually doing that because you haven't worked through the lessons and the emotions that come with the situation. The next question I have from you guys is, what are the action steps I can take to actually detach from a person physically and in the real time? Because I know a lot of the times we say, okay, you got to put out your beliefs. You have to figure out where they're at. You have to shift your beliefs. You have to do affirmations. But okay, what are the actual physical action steps that you need to take to detach from a person? So the first thing I would 100% recommend are tuning into your values and learning about what you actually care about and what you are valuing. Because it is a lot easier to detach from a person or a situation if you feel whole and complete in your moment and in your cup. Because you will be constantly seeking and chasing someone if you feel like you yourself are empty, because you are looking for a dopamine hit and you are looking for someone else to fill your cup when you yourself are not actually doing that for yourself. So that is one of the things I would highly recommend, is tune into your values. If you value your health, your wellness, if you value entrepreneurship, if you value nature, if you value health, if you value freedom, these are the things you have to hone in on and actually practice every single day. So for example, if you value your health and you feel like you're actually very anxiously attached, you cannot detach from someone, really look at, am I actually taking care of my health? Am I actually eating greens every day? Am I eating good foods every day? Am I going to the gym every day? Am I moving my body as much as I can every day? These are the questions to be asking yourself based on your values to actually get you to be the person and the place where you need to be in order to detach effortlessly and easily. And finally, the number one thing I would always recommend for you guys is to look into overnight affirmations and why these will change your entire life. Overnight affirmations are affirmations that you play while you're asleep, and these are super important because they actually target your subconscious mind and your subconscious beliefs, as opposed to the beliefs that are targeted when you're actually awake. So these will really, really rewire your neural pathways and get you to a place where you want to be in terms of your beliefs and your attachment style, because you are going to be able to change these beliefs effortlessly. So all you have to do is play these affirmations overnight for 8 hours a night, And that is all you have to do for 21 days. Honestly, I have seen tremendous results in terms of my old anxious attachment, my old attachment styles, even my relationship with money and my relationship with my love and myself. It really, really changes whenever you actually start practicing overnight affirmations. And if you want free overnight affirmations, I got you guys. Feel free to check them out on my channel, Growth for Girlies on YouTube, and you guys will find those there very easily, very quickly, and all for free. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I had so much fun with you guys. And if you like this podcast, please go ahead and give it a rating at the bottom. It really, really helps me out and really helps the podcast out as well. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. This is Alicia at Growth for Girlies, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.